Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Edward here today again, and we're gonna be talking about two, two new videos or movies, whatever you want to call it, that just came out. That's Final Fantasy Kingsglaive and Final Fantasy Brotherhood, which is both a kind of like a prequel to the Final Fantasy 15 game that's coming out later this month. And yeah, let's just dive right into it. So, Kingsglaive. That's a movie that just came out, I think, across or select theaters across America, and I think it's going to be coming out the whole country soon. And I was actually able to buy it on PS4, so yeah, PS4. I highly recommend buying it on there because, well, it's 16 bucks, and you can split it between some friends, because instead of going to the theater and paying like 15 bucks each just to go watch it, unless you just love the cinema, then hey, knock yourself out. But for me, no, I just enjoyed it in my own home, and I would say after watching it, the movie is just okay. Like it wasn't the best in terms of storytelling, voice acting. The voice acting, let's just go into that right now. Voice acting, I thought it was very rushed. It didn't sound like really good. Not that the actors are bad, because you had Aaron Paul who plays the main character. You had Sean Bean who plays the king, and Lena uh, Lena Headley, who's the biggest one of the best characters on Games of Thrones. If you watch it, like she's, I mean, all of them are great actors and they do good acting, but the actual voice acting, it felt very rushed, and also a lot of times it didn't sound. The way they recorded didn't sound like the characters were actually there. They just did it in the studio, and it just seemed like, oh, okay, we'll just do it once and then you're gone. Instead of really putting characters in certain. So, for example, there are certain scenes where they're talking in a big hall, and it's high ceilings, and you think it would be echoey, but their voices are not echoey at all. In fact, it sounds like someone's like speaking like right next to your ear, and it's like that doesn't like it just sounds really out of place. A lot of times when they do voice acting, or at least even when they do just normal like film shooting, what they would do is take the actor, after they film a scene, because they don't always like collect all the audio from the boomstick. So what they do is they re-record the audio, usually in the same scene, like with the mic that's like really close to the actor, so that they can redo all the lines, so they actually get it. Sometimes they would even go back, recreate, like say like after they've done all the shooting, and they realize like, oh crap, some of these scenes that we can't really hear you. Okay, we're gonna have you come back to the studio. We'll put you in a room of similar size. Put some things around you so that it sounds like you're actually there, and then you re-record the lines. That's what they do in the movies a lot, and they usually do it for even voice acting too, but not today. at least I figure you can do some audio magic and make it sound like it, but I guess they didn't. So that was kind of weird. I did appreciate the fact that they made the characters' mouths move to English words, because usually, when they dub stuff, it's just like, oh yeah, their mouths are actually moving to Japanese words, but it's English, but it's English words coming out, so like they don't always match. But I appreciate that, but still, it just didn't really do it for me. Visually, the movie is amazing. That's like the one thing you can always expect from Square Enix, is that their visuals are always just on top notch. Like everything looks beautiful. They even made certain Easter eggs to Final Fantasy kind of legacy monsters, like a Cerberus was there, a Marlboro were there. So, those are things that kind of like I think we as fans really appreciate, because it's like, hey, I always play these fools in a game. When am I going to see it on the big screen, right? Like when in Final Fantasy VII they threw in a Bahamut at the end. At least that's what I thought it was. I was like, that's sick, So, yeah, overall it was an okay movie. The story was decent. So the story is supposed to take place kind of like alongside of maybe the first few hours of the game, because the story is that the the main character Noctis, he's supposed to marry the prince Luna Freya, and all the trailers right now you see of Noctis and his three friends that are going into the city. He's supposed to be going into his wedding, like he's going to get married, and those are, I guess, the first few hours of the game, I'm assuming. And then this story, Kingsglaive, tells the other side of that same coin, whereas like the story of what's going on in the capital, in Lucis, and what's going on there. So that's kind of like the story behind it. And it sets up, and it's arguably, it's all supposed to set up for the game. So in case you think it's like, oh, it's incomplete, that's really what it's for, is to set up the entire game. Not the movie in itself is not like complete, so to say. But it's still worth a watch. I feel like if you're really into Final Fantasy lore, I'm guessing that they're only, they're not going to really dive too much into this story within the game. Maybe they'll probably talk about it, between certain characters. I can look it up in some shape or form within the game, but they're not going to like go super deep into it without you watching this. So, I recommend it if you're really excited for Final Fantasy 15. Then please go watch this. I think it was just okay, but you guys can watch it and tell me what you think. Now, there's another thing that came out, is also Final Fantasy 15 Brotherhood. That's on Crunchyroll, and it's on a bunch of other stuff too. And basically, it's the anime, 4-part series anime about Noctis and his 3 best friends. Prompt. I call him Prompt. They say it's Prompto, but I think that's just the Japanese way of not being able to pronounce that last syllable, because they're like Rito. That's just this the Japanese accent. So I'm thinking it's Prompt, Ignis, and Gladius. Like those are his 3 best friends, and each the 3 of the episodes kind of just dive more into about his relationship, how Noctis became friends with this person. How they all kind of met and grew up together, and now they're all best buddies. Because the 3 of them are essentially his bodyguards, and even though technically Gladius and Ignis works for his father, they've obviously all become very close, and now they protect him with his life. So aside from just being a crown prince and whatever. So that was a very good, very, very good series. It's all in Japanese, English subbed, yeah, English subbed. The translation is not terribly accurate. It's not like super far off, but certain phrases I'm just like, that's not what it's supposed to be. I'm not like a fluent Japanese speaker, but there's always certain phrases within anime that like you've heard like a million times that and then when you see it being translated incorrectly, it's like, what? That's not what they said. But anyways, but overall, it's really good. It's on anime, so it's not the super CGI'd version, but it's still fun. It's still good stuff. They kind of dive into a little bit of just the characters' backstories, which I'm assuming they'll throw a little bit into in the game, but not go as in-depth as these animes are. And it's free, so it's on Crunchyroll. If you have a free account, you can create a free account. Just go in and watch it. I'm not being sponsored by them in any shape or form, so I'm just telling you. It's free advertising for all my viewers. But anyways, that's really my take on these two films, I guess you can say, these 2 parts. Brotherhood and Kingsglaive. Go watch it if you love fantasy, if you love Square Enix, if you love fantasy, if you're looking forward to Final Fantasy 15. Let me know what you think. Comment. If you like this video, please give this video a like. Comment below. Thumbs up. Everything. And please subscribe to my channel for all things nerdy. Alright guys. Talk to you later.